guys, and welcome to my channel. This will be my very first video and I wanted it to be super special, so I'm going to talk to you about a story by Tiger Tales and Master Missy ASMR that I personally enjoy called Elf Prince. It's an ASMR or adventure, romance, fantasy series. A tale starts with a Silme running in the forest with a crime lord named Vladimir Kovac giving chase. There, she then runs into an elven prince named Drazen Galen. That is where her journey begins. It's a tale of budding romance, friendship, betrayal, magic, war, self-discovery, and a prophecy that places the fate of the entire elven realm of Orlande in Asilme's hands. I'm going to review some of the characters that are currently in the story so far, but I will try not to give too much away because I really want you guys to give it a try. Also, for personal reasons, I do not have a Patreon account, so all info that I'm using is either from Twitter or the videos on YouTube and what I can interpret from them, so get ready for guessing and a few possible theories of my own. Also, I just like making theories, so can't blame me for that. But just in case, spoiler warnings, you have been warned for spoilers. Starting with the royal family, he's of Galen and Ilfos. Since we meet Queen Arlea first, I'm going to start with her. When we first meet the Galen Queen, she asks the Silme to have tea with her and asks some questions. Like, where do you come from? This guy is obviously, do I take it he's the kind that doesn't take no for an answer? She's obviously very understanding and very considerate of Silme's current predicament. After making her decision, she sends a Silme and a Drazen to go talk to the king. Now, Queen Alea is obviously anything but unwise. She very much comes off as a wise beyond her years type of person. And being King Alpharay's little sister, it comes as no surprise that she's extremely loyal to her family. But we'll be getting to that later. King Armoraus is next. He is honestly a very perfect complementary match to his wife. While Arlea knows when it is needed at the right time, Armoraus is cautious and responsible, I would say. It's probably not the right word I want to use, but it is the closest thing I've got. Because he takes there being a human in the realm very seriously, and he's very bound to his work. He's obviously a very gracious king, he's very compassionate, just like his wife, and is willing to hear a Silme out. So, what needs to be stated? This is a complete and total fact. King Armoraus. He knows to trust his wife's judgment above all else. And he isn't afraid to show her how much he loves her, and that it's very obviously seen. Obviously a thing that a Jason does indeed inherit. Lord love this guy. Armoraus is hesitant to meet a Silme at first because of the law against humans being in the realm of Orlande, placed by his parents when he was a child. But, again, he gets convinced by Arlea to do so anyway. It's seen as time goes on that Armoraus and Alea both appear to care about Silme and trust her judgment, as well as keep a Drazen and a Luwin safe and out of trouble. Now, I would have done a Luwin and his parents separately, but not enough evidence is known about the Ilfos king and queen to do that. so I'm doing all of them together. Queen Anania is a very gentle, loving soul who gets kidnapped, while her husband, King Elfray, who is a loyal, loving husband and father, gets possessed by some evil entity called the Dark One in season 2. Now, Elwyn appears in the beginning as a mischievous, arrogant guy. But it's immediately revealed that it's just a mask to hide his passionate and caring nature, which he obviously inherited the caring nature from his mother. He probably inherited the passionate side from both of them, as he has been seen to show when Isilme runs into him after receiving a vision via the water fountain in the Galen Garden maze, and when she collapses into Jason's arms shortly after. When Elwyn and Isilme are trapped in Limbos, he did whatever he could to keep Isilme safe. It is clear here in all his later interactions with Isilme that he deeply cares about her welfare and is willing to put his own feelings aside for Isilme's happiness. As unfortunately later on he develops feelings for Isilme. Now I'm saying feelings as a quote-unquote, because I do not think that they are feelings for Isilme. I think he is developing basically like a family-like bond with her. He's basically becoming very much an older brother for Isilme, and Isilme is very much willing to accept that, but she does put boundaries up for him to understand. She is in a relationship, and she very much loves the person she's in a relationship with, and he's willing to put his feelings aside just for Isilme to be happy. So it's very apparent that Elwyn takes after both of his parents. He has while also having a very playful rivalry with his cousin Drazen. Now, the reason why I call him his cousin is because in the story he is said to be his distant cousin. I wouldn't call your mother, being the younger sister to his father, a distant cousin. I would see them more as he is your direct cousin. If he's the direct cousin, that makes him immediately your cousin, not a distant relative. A distant relative would be like, oh, this is the son of your grandmother's sister's kid. That would be a distant sibling because you'd have something separating you. Separating their side of the family tree, which would make them a distant relative. So, obviously, the Ivos and royal family have an extremely deep connection and bond. This is shown when Elfray tells Armoros and Alea to, and this is a quote from his mouth, not to let Elwyn see me like this. Because he understands that if Elwyn were to see him in this state, he would get into a lot of trouble. There would be problems to have. Because if the Dark One was going after him because he's a passionate guy and he has a very close connection to the Galen family who have Isilme, what would happen if what would happen if the Dark One got a hold of Elwyn? Elwyn, he's in love with Isilme. He would easily give in to the Dark One's words. If he says, hey, I'll get you with the girl you love, but you gotta get her for me. And he'd be like, kosher, okay. So, I wouldn't say that he would give in immediately. He would say, no, she's my friend, I wouldn't do that. like, the Galens, they are my family. I wouldn't betray my family. He's like, you're gonna give in eventually. But, again, that's just me. Now, the bond is shown again when Elune arrived to the Galen castle and he learns that his family, like, they were put in danger. His father was badly wounded, his mother was kidnapped. He snaps at a Drazen and he basically just loses his temper. And this becomes very well notified by a Drazen trying to calm Elune down. Anania even tries to reason with Sylvana, who has taking her to the shrine of the guardian Nithos after she kidnapped her and almost murdered her husband. Like, you can tell these two are the Ilfas are a very compassionate, kind-natured people. And they don't do this just for show, because this is obviously a genetic thing, because Queen Anania and a Drazen show the same trait. It's through their bond with their family, which is a sign that this is a deeply connected family through their own interconnections and ties to both clans. And honestly, I find that very fascinating. And it lets you get a good look into their family tree. Now, moving on to Princess Sylvana. To say that this trash of an elven princess's whole existence makes me more annoyed than a Monday morning and there's no coffee in the whole house is an understatement. She is quite literally one of the main reasons why we have all the current problems in the story so far. So, here's the thing about Sylvana's deal. She's an elven princess who was born without magic, for which she was bullied and looked down on by her peers. Now, in each elven clan, there's an elemental guardian, and currently only 4 out of the 5 are fully known. The earth elemental named Rayos is for the Galen clan. The fire elemental named Sidal, who's like probably one of the only females we know of, goes for the clan Ilfas. The wind elemental Velo is for the Solanta, and the water elemental, again, Nithos, is for the Arluk clan. So when Guardian Nithos told her that she wasn't ready to wield the magic gifts that belonged to her, to the members of her family, Sylvana kind of lost it to say the least. And this is basically a quote, this is somewhat of a quote of what she says. After praying for a while, like a good little princess, my prayers were finally answered. This moron comes across the spirit of Kastron Akasha of the Lost Clan and decides to strike a magical deal with him. Think of it like from the original Disney's Little Mermaid. She has to give her something in return. It's not exposed yet what she had to give up, but she had to give up something because that magic don't come from free. It come in for free. After which the deal was struck, Sylvana is granted the power to control the Guardian Nithos. Basically pulling a Karen move and forcing him via corruption to give her what she wants. However, what she had to give in return, again, is still unknown. We can safely assume that she can either can't speak about the deal, much like how Asilme made her deal, a little more on that later, or just doesn't remember what she had to give up, since she also doesn't recognize Kastron when they first meet face to face. Now, the thing with elf magic in the series, as far as I can interpret, is either that you're born with it or you develop it later on. Very few are born to never have magic. Now, as far as I can interpret from the story thus far, is that magic represents mental and or emotional maturity. And or doesn't come nor work for free if you aren't meant to have it. Now, if you watch the series, it's revealed right off the bat, Sylvana is not only heavily distrusted by Adrazen and Aluin. Their exact words were, "She is not someone I can fully trust." I'm pretty sure everyone else around Sylvana thinks that way too. But she is also very rude, often acting incredibly self-centered and childish. She was even referred to by her brother, Prince Cyran, as a spoilt brat. When she kidnaps Isilme and imprisons her in the Heirloom Castle dungeons, she literally acts like a little piece of trash. Like, if you were to put Trashta and this girl in the same room, you would not be able to tell the two apart. So far, Sylvana is basically just an annoying little piece of crap of a princess. Who, honestly, I can't wait to see her get her comeuppance. She's spoiled rotten to the godforsaken core. It is honestly not that smart. Now, a minor spoiler warning to season 3. Let's just say that if Kizatron hadn't shown up when he did, she would have been defeated and captured. That is how unsmart she is. She does something so dumb that she gets herself into trouble. Now, on to Adrazen. He's our male lead, and all I can say is the guy is pretty much the elf version of Emperor Heinrich from Remarried Empress. Like, I can't even. This guy is so adorable and sweet. He is literally so loyal to Isilme that he literally takes a bullet for her, just to keep Kovac from taking her back to the human realm. Sadly, he also almost dies due to the bullet hitting his vitals and or blood loss, causing Isilme to discover that she also has the ability to heal any injury. By healing Adrazen's wound, practically bringing him back from the dead, and nursing him back to health, back at Castle Galen. This event causes Adrazen to realize that he has feelings for Isilme, and he later, after, fully recovering, because boy's not that dumb, he confesses to her in the Galen Castle garden. This leads to the two of them becoming a couple, and Adrazen enjoys every chance he gets. Like, it is very obvious he enjoys every chance he gets to spend time with Isilme, to just shower her with love and affection, and just basically be there for her. And that is just very cute and very wholesome, and he's adorable, and I want it. Why can't I have a man like that in my life? So quickly, I'm going to go over Kizatron. To say that Kizatron is the sole cause of the problems in Orlande for Isilme is basically kind of hitting the nail on the head. He clearly has his own plans in mind and prioritizes them at the end of it all. Earlier in the story, we learned that he is pretty much kind of the reason why the darkness escaped in the first place. If you recall, I said that Sylvana made a deal with Kesatron to gain magic. Well, I get the feeling that due to that deal, well, it may have done something to let the darkness get out. I'm just saying. So far, he's, as far as I can tell, not fully trusted by Asilme because it's pretty obvious that he be scheming, brother be plotting. But due to threatening to do away with the blessed Akashan water that is later used to save King Alfrey's life, as well as to keep her and Luwin trapped in Limbos forever, Asilme pretty much has no choice in the matter, being forced to give him the book on the shrines and has to rescue him from Limbos. However, Kesatron has shown to be deeply caring for his sister, to the point that he forces Sylvana to basically leave Asilme alone. This is literally his quote. "That human you so detest is my sister, Asilme. It would be wise to leave her alone." So yeah, he clearly be a protective big brother. They're down to his core. I call him a big brother because I have a theory he may be the older brother between the two, or he may be the younger brother. Who knows? We don't know which one's the oldest sibling. We don't know which one's the younger sibling. We know that one of them has to have been born first. And hopefully it is our girl Asilme. But honestly, if it were an older brother and he's like, my little sister must protect, she's my bean, I'm all for that. So when he tells her to leave her alone, he then says, "Make yourself useful. Go take Queen Anania and your parents to the shrine of Guardian Nithos. Go be useful. Because you're very much causing a lot of problems, and I now have to clean it up." Now, at last, but certainly not the least by any means, we are now to Asilme, the female lead herself. Before Asilme ever even met Jason, she was considered an outcast, raised by an orphanage until the age of 18. I can only guess, as that is the legal age that non-adopted children are made to live on their own, being forced to find jobs at the age of 16. So that way they have more room for younger kids. And Asilme literally says that she has no one waiting nor missing her back in the human realm, so it's obvious she has literally no family that she can think of. Asilme basically adapts to the outside world after being, told to go live on her own by the orphanage by using her power and going into business as a fortune teller, to the point where she is known as the Devushka, who can make very accurate predictions. She becomes so well known for being right every time she gives the prediction that the crime lord, again Vladimir Kovac, demands Asilme to, and I quote, "read his fortune." When Asilme refuses to do so, Vladimir simply says that he wasn't asking, and then orders his man to grab her and take her to his hideout. It's either his hideout or his house. I can't tell which is which. After being reunited with her board that she used to make the predictions with, after this, I can only guess she tricked them into leaving the room somehow, as later on she is found to be missing from the room, and they're like, "What do you mean she escaped?" It's very obvious that they don't know how she got out. So Asilme escapes from where she's being held and flees into the forest with Vladimir and his goons chasing after her, bringing us to the beginning of the story. Asilme is devoted, loyal kind, loving, observant, compassionate person with her powers of telekinesis, clairvoyance, and later on the abilities to heal any injuries, purify guardian shrines, and there is a possibility that she may have more abilities that we don't know of. Asilme is as smart as she is strong-willed. Once rallying the people of a small village together to fight back against a group of bandits who just basically were just causing a lot of problems for simply just to cause problems. When she needs to, she's willing to think things through to make a decision before coming to a decision. Doing what is right and following her heart seems to be her go-to for almost anything. If she ever needs a second opinion, I can picture that she will ask the others for their input, which is probably why Kistrana told her, you're not allowed to tell anyone about this deal or it's off the table. I'm not going to help you. And she's like, okay, fine. But as far as we know, so far we only know this much of Asilme's. We only know as much as Asilme in the story when it comes to Asilme. If you don't count the little moments with Casatron here and there, which I feel that's a good touch as it drags you into the story. It makes you feel like you're there and your feelings about the characters are genuinely your feelings. And they're possibly her feelings too. And that is honestly what drags me into a good story. So, again, I am sorry for the content of this video. This is my very first and I have no experience. But I'm going to have to end my video there. I can't stress enough when I say you guys really need to go watch this video. I can honestly say my words don't do it justice. The story can be found on MasterMissyASMR, or you can go to Tiger's Tales channel on YouTube and basically just have the whole thing there. But if you were to go to either, be sure to like and subscribe to their channels, follow them on Twitter, and become a member of their Patreon to get access to more content than I have. And honestly, you may be able to get more info than myself. I want to give a huge shout out to Tiger's Tail for giving me permission to do this video. I am honestly very overjoyed and honored when you gave me the green light. Again, I love the story, and I'm sure my words just now did not give it as much credit as I really feel that it deserves. And I can't wait for the next episode to come out. Anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. Bye!